What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of Big Deal Real Estate. So in the last episode, I gave you a tool on how to calculate cap rates. And like I said, that's a tool that you can use for when you start investing in real estate. What I want to do today is give you guys a couple more tools to use before you start investing. And one of those being net operating income. I'm going to go over what that is today and how to calculate it, along with cash on cash return. So let's say you guys are like me, you finally built up a stable enough income in your businesses that you're able to get financing and you're a first-time home buyer. In this case, I'm going to be going with an FHA loan. Fill that in there. And guys, for this example today, these are all basically the real numbers that I'm going to be using to buy my own 4-unit here pretty soon in the next couple of months. So I just wanted you guys to see what those real numbers look like and what it's going to look like for me, because I want to prove to you guys that it can be done. Anybody can do this kind of stuff out there. And I really wish that they would have taught this stuff in school rather than like making me read Macbeth. I would have rather have learned cash on cash return, net operating income, return on investments, and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, let's say you're getting ready to buy your first 4-unit, just like myself. I'll start filling in the numbers of what that's going to look like. So you got a 4-unit. I'm going to be looking in the Lewis and Auburn area. So for any 4-unit that's, halfway decent in a nice area, it's probably going to be right around $200,000 for a purchase price. And right now interest rates are low, so I can get locked in at a rate at 3.25% right now, which is really good. And for an FHA loan, they require you bring 3.5% down to closing. So 3.5% of $200,000 is $7,000. So, and for the purposes of everything, if it's money going out, I'm going to be using the red marker, and if it's money coming in, I'm going to be using the blue marker. I apologize. I would have used the green one, but I cannot for the life of me find it, so I'm going to have to go out and buy a new one. So okay. FHA loan, 3.25%. That's this right here is principal and interest that you're going to be paying on your mortgage. That's the principal amount of the mortgage payment plus the interest, and what that comes out to at $200,000 at 3.25% is $870. Up next is your taxes. Everybody's got to pay taxes on their properties. Let's say, realistically, I'm probably going to be paying $3,000 a year in taxes. So that would come out to $250 a month. Insurance, that's another thing that everybody needs to have on their property, no matter who you are. And in this area, I see it ranging from $100 to $150. So for this example, I'm going to stay right in the middle and go with $125. Electricity, normally tenants pay for the electricity, and sometimes you're going to see some buildings where you have to pay certain units electricity, but in this example, let's just say all the tenants are paying their electricity and you got to pay for the common areas or like some outside security lights and stuff like that. We'll say it's probably going to be realistically like $50 a month. Heat, well, that's another thing. I've seen it go anywhere from 200 to 400, so we'll stick right in the middle and say $300 a month for heat. And then water and sewer, most likely when you buy a apartment building, it's going to be in a public area that's on public water and public sewer, and those numbers are probably going to run you about $100 a month. These numbers aren't exact. I'm no financial advisor. These are just ballpark estimates of what I've seen and what I'm most likely going to lock myself into when I buy a building. So if we add all those up, I can't really. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to go find a calculator because my phone is, recording. So if we add all this up, 870 plus 250 plus 125 plus 50 plus 300 plus 100, you get $1,585 a month in expenses, which to a lot of people that's a big number, but what I want you guys to be aware of is I don't care what the expenses are of a certain asset, as long as it's cash flowing. I think a lot of people miss that. They get hung up on the wrong things where they focus on what is it costing me, and they don't think about what's the value. What kind of value is this cost giving me? Which I'll probably do a later video a little down the road about cost versus value and explain that. So getting into what the rents are on a building like this, let's say unit 1 is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. That would probably get you $900 a month. Unit 2, we'll say the same thing, $900, 2-bed, 1 bath. Unit 3, let's say that one's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. You could probably get $1,100 for that a month. And then unit 4 is a smaller unit, you know, $700 a month, and it's a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. Now, I'm going to be owner occupying one of the units. I have to with an FHA loan, and I want to anyway because I'm going to own my own building and I want to manage it myself. So I'm probably going to need one of the 2-bedroom, 1 bath units. We'll just strike out the first one. So if I'm living in it, it's not going to be rented. I'm obviously not going to be paying rent to myself. Although I might make my girlfriend pay me rent, which I think would be really cool. I haven't talked to her about it yet, so we'll see. Okay, adding all those up. Got $1,800, that's going to be $2,700 a month. And that is the gross rent. Okay. So if you haven't already, write down these numbers. I'm going to erase some of this stuff because I need more room to calculate this stuff. So yeah, okay, I can erase all of this. And what I'm left with is the gross rent and the monthly expenses. So diving into calculating net operating income, the equation is, whoops, I have to dry it off a little. The equation is net operating income equals gross rent minus your expenses. It's a pretty simple one. So net operating income equals 2,700 minus 1,585, and that comes out to $1,115. Now, you have to multiply this number by 12 because it doesn't go by a monthly basis. Normally, investors go by a yearly basis. You can base it off a monthly one, but typically when you're calculating cash on cash return, cap rates, it's based on the entire year. So you take that number, times it by 12 months, and you get 13,380. That's a pretty decent net operating income for your first investment property for your first year. So if you haven't written down this equation yet, you know, I'll give you guys a second to do that, and then we'll jump into calculating cash on cash return. That's our net operating income. And then cash on cash return is calculated by dividing the cash flow by the amount you have invested. So what that'll look like is, what's the cash flow again? 1,585 times 12, that's going to be 13,380. Divided by the cash that you have invested. In this case, it's going to be the down payment. divided by 7,000, and you get a cash on cash return of, that's going to be 191%, guys. So cash on cash return, obviously you want this number as high as possible. If you have a deal that is going to give you a cash on cash return of 191%, I'm going to tell you to do that deal all day long. But again, I'm no financial advisor, so if you have a deal that you're calculating these numbers out on, I'll be more than happy to go over everything with you and look at it and then be able to advise you from then. So if you find your first 4 unit, it's cash flowing nicely, it's got decent gross rents, you can live in it rent free, not have to pay any of the expenses yourself, have a decent net operating income and a decent cash on cash return, then I'm probably going to tell you to go ahead and do that deal. So I hope this was educational to all you guys. I hope you can use these 2 more tools in your tool belt when you're investing in real estate yourselves, and I look forward to sharing more of my knowledge with you guys so you can help create wealth for you and your families. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more content.